subject is savings, culture, and economic growth. Culture, putting culture in perspective, and then we move into the subject of savings. So how do you connect the two so that people can understand? Because the poverty situation in Africa and some part of the world is serious.
Yeah.
Even my research shows that certain part of the US is serious.
Yeah.
People are poor.
Yeah.
It will shock you. A lot of people want to go to the US. People are poor. People go through difficult times. And so I guess the situation is everywhere.
Yeah.
So how do you connect these two so that culture and savings will place in the right perspective?
Okay, once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity to be on your studios to discuss the subject of savings culture and economic growth. First of all, we need to understand what culture is. I believe most of us, when we were in senior high school and junior high school, we know culture to be our way of life. So basically, culture means a way of thinking or behaving or working in a society. So we have what we call the Ghanaian culture. We have the American culture. We have the African culture. We have the European culture. So the Ghanaian culture, one of the Ghanaian culture that we all know is hospitality. We know that when you come to Ghana and you want a place to sleep, a place to have fun, you get Ghanaians helping you around. So that's the Ghanaian culture. When you go to America, they also have their own culture. Now when it comes to the savings culture we are talking about, it's just a matter of how you also approach money. Savings is basically about money. How you approach money. What is your attitude towards money? What is your thinking about money? When you receive an income, how do you approach that income? What do you think about when you get that income? What is your way of life towards money? That is basically what we mean by the savings culture. And it is not something that just comes up from nowhere. There are things that you put steps and you position yourself with them. Such that, for example, if you want to pass your exams, you're a student, we always say that you need to get the culture of learning. Culture of learning basically means that you need to have a thought out plan of how you want to learn, you want to study. So, for example, your classmate who has a different culture might just be sharp in the class. A lecturer comes in, teacher comes in, he just picks a pen, he writes whatever the teacher or lecturer is saying, and it's okay. He might go home, take 1 hour to go by it, and it's okay. That is his learning culture. But maybe you are a slow learner. So for you, you need to take your notes, get back home, spend about 4 hours before you be at the same level as your friend who used 1 hour. So that is the culture we are talking about. So your friend's culture, learning culture, might be 1 hour. Yours, because of your strength, will be 4 hours. So we need to understand that the culture we are talking about, which is the thinking and the way of life, differs from one person to another depending on where you are. So for example, when you go to the Americas, over there, they have a different way of life. So when it comes to savings, they approach savings with a different perspective. When you go to America and the United Kingdom and other places, the average interest you get on your savings will be less than 1%, 2%. So over there, people approach savings with a different mindset, and that's their culture. When you come to Ghana and Africa, maybe banks are giving people 6%, 7% on savings. It means that our attitude and culture should be different from those in America because theirs is maybe 1%, 2%.
So can we say that culture can be taught? No?
Yes,
you have to
we learn culture.
So in the US and even Canada, I know for sure the financial literacy is a major deal.
Yeah.
It's serious.
Yes.
Especially Canada is massive.
Yeah.
US is doing very well.
Yeah.
And meaning that there's a conscious effort.
Yes.
In Ghana here, do you think the government or government of the government have put this in place very well?
To be honest with you, I don't think there has been that conscious effort to make financial literacy basic for everybody. We only have financial literacy week once in a year. So when it's that time, the central bank will just come around, there's this program here and there. When it's done, that's all. But there should be a conscious effort. There was an article I wrote on culture, and I said that it should be taught as a core subject in the basic school. People in the basic school should be able to learn what culture, the culture of savings is. What do you mean by savings? the more they learn and are impacted at that level, the more it will translate to the other generation. Because you and I, everybody, you and I, we all know that some of us, we learned the savings pattern the hard way. Things happen to us before we began. Yes. But it shouldn't be the case. People should be taught that, okay, when you earn this amount of money, this is what you're supposed to do with it. And this is the return you'll be getting in, let's say, a year's time, 2 years' time. It should be a conscious effort. There should be programs being run by government to educate the people, especially the youth. Because the youth is the next generation. Let's assume that maybe the older generation, for them, they are phasing out gradually. But the youth, how do they see the issue of savings? How do they even think that when I earn an income today, what am I supposed to do with it? Does it mean that once I earn an income, I have to spend everything? Is that what we are saying? The government and other NGOs should begin to make it a plan.
So let me put it this way. For those of us in the adult ages, maybe the 40s and 50s and 60s, 70s, it means that we've missed that culture.
Yes.
And that is why we are suffering.
Yes, most of us, we have missed that culture. Our fathers, our forefathers, didn't have that culture of putting some money aside no matter what. You see, the perception out there for most people is that you only save when you have a lot of money. But it doesn't work that way. If you cannot save when you earn something small, you cannot save when you earn something big. I always give this scenario. So, assuming your income now is 500 cedis, if you want to buy a phone, you'll be thinking of a phone that's in relation to your salary, 500 cedis. If tomorrow your salary jumps from 500 cedis to 5,000, 6,000, do you think you'll be buying the same phone that you bought when your salary was 500 cedis? The answer is no. Because you think that now you have enough to buy the preferred phone that you want. That is how savings and income works. It is not about the hugeness of your income. It's not about you earning so much before you start saving. If you cannot save now, once you earn that income that you think is too small, when it becomes bigger, your expenses will grow. I always say that your expenses, your income, they grow.
So we can say this culture issue, is it more about financial indiscipline? Does it connect to financial indiscipline? Because we don't know, so we just spend anyhow, no planning, nothing is happening, and so we miss that aspect.
Okay, so I'll take it from two angles. Okay. One, there are people who don't know. Okay. So they don't know that if I earn money, I need to put.
I don't know people.
I don't know people.
And then I know people.
I know people who think that tomorrow will look after itself.
Okay. They know.
They know, but they think tomorrow will look after itself.
Because they expect salary.
Exactly. Exactly. So
can we this COVID-19?
Yes.
People, there were some shock absorbers.
It's a lot.
Quick.
Yes.
Salary cut.
Yes.
So like those I know, but tomorrow they were surprised.
They were surprised. And some now had to rely on friends and other financial institutions to buy food to eat.
And then a typical example, the financial sector cleanup.
Yes.
To some people be unemployed. So
exactly.
They too were surprised.
Yes, most of them. It is surprising to know that the financial education we are talking about, it really affects those who rather work in the financial institutions.
Amazing. That's powerful.
Yes.
That's a man from the banking sector.
I'm telling you.
This is Patrick Baah.
Yes.
A chartered banker.
Yes.
He's worked in the bank before.
Yes.
For some time.
For 7 years, yes.
7 years.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
And he's saying that, listeners, look, that the bankers themselves are financially what?
Indiscipline, yes.
Wow.
It's because most of them fall into the second group.
This is revealing.
Yes.
That is more serious.
Yes, it's because you see, they fall into a second group who they know, but they think that tomorrow will cater for itself. It should not be the case. You cannot predict tomorrow. You and I, we never thought that in March, April, there will be a lockdown. So if you are thinking that tomorrow will look after itself, and you are a teacher, and school has been closed down suddenly for 3 months, your employer, who is supposed to expect school fees, is not coming. They cannot pay you.
In fact, talking of the schools, I think it's one area that saddens me.
Yeah.
Because if you have not planned, you have some reserves or some savings.
Yeah.
For the last 2 months.
2 months, yeah.
I think we have let's say March. Okay, March, I'm sure some people receive.
Yes, some receive, yeah.
For April, it was difficult.
Difficult. May. Difficult. This month.
West.
Yes.
And it's going to get tighter and tougher.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so if they have some savings, and they had a culture.
Yes.
They could be able to live on.
Exactly. At least. I was reading one article, and it's very interesting.
Wow.
The speaker was saying that at least if you have this savings culture, when you go through challenges, your savings that you will have, if you already have investment or anything, should be able to cater for you for the next at least 6 months. 6 months, you should be able to live on your savings. And the savings here, we are not saying go and use that savings to buy a new thing. It's just for feeding.
Let me come in. If you just tune, this is Star FM